what's with President Bill Clinton as soon as he's out of office? And we're not talking like, 20 years passed and he was like, no one's paying attention to me anymore. I'm going to go see this pervert, Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, right after. I showed you the picture yesterday of my friends with Bill Clinton in 1999. By the way, that's literally the picture on the front of the New York Post's homepage right now. It's Abby Rittman and Meg Florence, and they're together in 1999 in this restaurant right outside or right in DC. And they were, 20 at the time. Now they're closer to my age. But look at him. This dog is still president, and he's staring down the blouse of my one friend, and his hand is dangerously close to my friend's side boob. Okay, he's still in office. His wife and daughter are across the restaurant. And my friends gave me this photo like a while back. They were like, look at this. We had a good laugh over it. And I'm like, I'm going to put that on the air. And today seemed like a good day yesterday because the Clintons are testifying on Epstein. But my point is like brazen, right? Like hiding in plain sight. So Bill Clinton goes from that right after Lewinsky to palling around with Jeffrey Epstein in 2000 through 2004 or 5 around there in that man's hot tub with all these women. It's incredible. It's incredible what happens. And I'm sure is still happening with people other than Epstein right now. He's sitting right now in the same seat his wife was in yesterday up in Chappaqua, New York. I've been up there. They have this beautiful home. It's like picturesque on this rolling hill type property. They're living large, the Clintons. They got lots of staff. They got their loser daughter out there, the ultimate Nepo baby, trying to pretend we care what she has to say about Maha. We don't. We don't care what you have to say about anything. We feel about you the way the Today Show did. They hated you even more than they hated me. And one of us had talent. It was just, you know who the one was who didn't belong there because she had absolutely no journalism chops and got the job because her last name was Clinton. So Bill Clinton is up there now under oath. And unlike his wife, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, he had lots of connections to Jeffrey Epstein. Lots. He was on the guy's plane dozens of times. He had multiple social outings with the guy. Raise your hand if you've been in a hot tub with Jeffrey Epstein and some women. Not an experience most of us have had. Bill, though, we know from these files, had many interactions with him for years. For years he did with Jeffrey Epstein. And so now he's on the hot seat, and he's going to have to answer for all that today in front of the House Oversight Committee, which is investigating him. Yesterday, it was Hillary, as I said, and she came out and said, no, I didn't know anything. I swear, I knew nothing. Here she is to the press after the deposition in SOT 2.
Well, I have just finished testifying. I answered every one of their questions as fully as I could, based on what I knew. And what I knew is what I said in my statement this morning. I never met Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection or communication with him. I knew Ghislaine Maxwell casually as an acquaintance. But whatever they asked me, I did my very best to respond. I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. So it's on the record numerous times.
Ugh, so contemptible about that woman. And now Bill Clinton's in the hot seat. And it's going to go differently for him today. I believe her that she didn't know Jeffrey Epstein, but she knew Ghislaine. That's what's interesting about her. She knew her husband knew Epstein very well. All the time she was married to him. Has she asked any questions? Did she, once Epstein pleaded guilty to solicitation of prostitution with a minor, which is not a thing? Here's Bill Clinton, who just offered an opening statement before his testimony. Would you listen to this? As someone who grew up in a home with domestic abuse, okay. Not only would I not have flown on his plane if I had any inkling of what he was doing, I would have turned him in myself and led the call for justice for his crimes, not sweetheart deals. Sure, Jan. The reason I'm here is that the girls and women whose lives Jeffrey Epstein destroyed deserve not only justice, but healing. Okay. You and your crazy ass wife used George Stephanopoulos and James Carville to create whole war rooms to destroy the young women who were accusing you of far less than Jeffrey Epstein was ever accused of. You destroyed them. You organized massive PR campaigns to undermine their credibility, woman after woman after woman, who we now know were telling the truth, and who I certainly believe were telling the truth about you. Kathleen Willey is one. Juanita Broderick is another. Paula Jones is another. Jennifer Flowers is another. So just fucking spare me that you now really have a lot of concern about the women and girls allegedly caught up in the Epstein web. The reason I'm here is the girls and women whose lives Epstein destroyed deserve justice and healing. Oh my God, you're such a fucking liar. This guy just wrote in his stupid letter trying to get out of this deposition, along with his wife, co-signed literally by his wife. There comes a time in every person's life where they have to decide if they're going to roll over for this fascistic government or whether they're prepared to fight. That time for us is now. They were ready. They wanted to be martyr. We are going to fight this administration. We have no information on Epstein. This is just a complete bully job. And then they were told, in no uncertain terms, they were going to get the Steve Bannon treatment. You don't show up to comply with a subpoena. You go to prison. And they folded like a cheap tent. They collapsed like a deck of cards. Like that. Oh, maybe that time is not now. It's like, maybe it's somebody else who's going to have to say this is the time. Maybe we'll say this is the time, but like 6 or 12 months down the line. Oh, wait, we have to give testimony before then. So they did. There's such a couple of posers. Everything about them, everything is about their image. If you read, you should Google that letter. In fact, let's post that letter in our, let's include a link to that in our MK American News Minute. We send it out once a week. We send you an email with all the news of the week. You can sign up at megynkelly.com. And I'm going to include a link to their letter that they wrote. It is the most absurd, self-aggrandizing thing you've ever read. It waxes poetic about all the reasons that this is so unjust that we're calling them in there to testify and how terrible this government is, and they will fight. They will be the ones. They have the wherewithal. They have the means. They rolled over like Rover just as soon as James Comer was like, well, I will send you to prison, and I have a Department of Justice ready to pursue those charges. I mean, immediately. So that's how they got here, under protest. But now Bill Clinton says, the reason I am here is that the girls and women whose lives Epstein destroyed deserve not only justice, but healing. You didn't want to show up. You said there comes a time in every man's life where he has to decide whether he's going to fight, and that time is now. You only went in once Comer threatened you with prison. They started off lying. It's like unbelievable. Here's the third paragraph. Though my brief acquaintance with Epstein ended years before his crimes came to light, and though I never witnessed during our limited interactions any indication of what was truly going on, I'm here to offer what little I know so that it might prevent anything like this from ever happening again. You made Hillary come in. She had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Nothing. No matter how many photos you show me, I have two things that at the end of the day matter more than your interpretation of those 20-year-old photos. I know what I saw and more importantly, what I didn't see. I know what I did and more importantly, what I didn't do. I saw nothing and I did nothing wrong. You'll often hear me say that I don't recall. Oh, he's setting the table before he says anything. That might be unsatisfying, but I'm not going to say something I'm not sure of. That was all a long time ago. It ends with that, Mr. Chairman, fire away. This is a man who's already lied under oath. Depends on what the definition of is. And that's what he was impeached for, because he lied under oath, threatened with disbarment because he's a lawyer. And so that's what we're getting under oath today. Not exactly a proven truth teller. And already he sets the table with, you're going to hear me say I don't recall. That's his favorite, among other dishonest people's favorite trick for getting out of telling hard truths. Yes, some honest people also don't recall, but over and over and over, to the point where you need to set it up before you even begin testifying. And this stinks to high heaven. No one believes we're going to get the straight skinny from him at all. But I'm glad they're putting him through the exercise. Let's get him on the record. Let's try. Why should he be treated differently than Les Wexner, who stinks to high heaven too? It's gross. These guys are disgusting. let me just go back to my friend's picture for a second. There's no crime in what he's doing there. But just think of what a disgusting pig. Ladies, think if you saw your husband like this, it's the sitting president of the United States, okay? And you're in the restaurant with him. Your child is in the restaurant with him. Chelsea and Hillary were there, according to my friends. My two friends were there with a table full of guys and some other friends, and he came over to them. He wanted his picture with them. And think if this were your husband. After he'd been impeached, after the Monica Lewinsky story had broken, after the story with the, sexual acts with a cigar had broken, you'd been nationally humiliated, yes, through Jennifer Flowers, that came out when he was running, and through Monica Lewinsky now, who's giving him blowjobs in the Oval Office. And then you see your husband pose for a photo where he's literally trying to get a look at some strange, beautiful woman's tits while he's appearing to slide his hand toward the breasts of the other one. These are young girls. They're 20 at the time. He's a disgusting pervert. Truly, most of us, our husbands would never do this in a million years. They wouldn't behave like this. Never mind as sitting president. Never mind in the wake of the Lewinsky and Flowers and other scandals. All those names I ticked off that they created the war room for, that happened all before this. That's who's testifying today, worried about the young women and the girls. That's what brought him here on the thing he totally objected to doing until he was threatened with jail. I can't with these two. International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There's a never-ending list of reasons gold has risen over 700% in the last 20 years. And a never-ending list of reasons smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals with Birch Gold Group. Gold can thrive during uncertainty, which is why it's a crucial part of a balanced financial strategy. It gives you peace of mind, given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text MK to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, consider letting Birch Gold help you diversify with gold so you too can have peace of mind, regardless of the uncertainty. Text MK to the number 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.